just told me to do a search online. Search for photos of Earth, he said, cause this'll blow your mind. So I opened up the Google and I looked for photos of Earth. A lot of photos came up, he said. Click on the first. He said, that's the famous blue marble that everybody's seen. We've seen this photo 1,000 times upon our TV screen. But let me tell you something about that famous shot. It's not a photo at all, man. It was made in Photoshop. Cause there ain't no photographs of us, somebody tell me why. They're all just Photoshop cartoons, they're all just CGI. No photographic proof I was blown, no, none at all. Why the hell can no one take a photo of this ball? Well, man, he was right.
Hello and welcome to this very, very special show of High Ash Flames here with Conspiracy Music Guru. And hello, Alex. How are you?
I'm very well, thank you. How are you? Thanks for having me on. I'm looking forward to the conversation.
Good. Welcome to Ash News. Feel like right at home over here. We are really thrilled and excited to have you over here because you are an adorable person, as we saw in your clips over here. But you also like one of the let's say founders, or like let's say spiritual founders of the Flat Earth community and conspiracy in general. And so we are more than happy to have you over here. You are talking to us from Barcelona, right?
I'm about 6 hours south of Barcelona. I'm closer to Valencia. So if you know where Valencia is, I'm about an hour and a half south of Valencia. But yeah, northern Alicante, beautiful part of the world.
Okay, great. And nowadays we're gonna talk just briefly for 1 minute. How's it going over there? With our current times in there, is everything okay relatively to what's going on in the world?
No, I mean it's awful. It's like everywhere else. I mean, we just got the news today that all the restaurants have to be shut now again. So they're not allowed to open at all. Supermarkets are allowed to open and other businesses are allowed to open, but any social businesses, they've all got to shut now, which makes absolutely no sense. None of this has made any sense all along the way. We know exactly what's going on. But yeah, the situation here is dire. Face masks are mandatory. As soon as you walk out of your house, you're supposed to wear a face mask. I haven't done so yet, but I barely leave the house, so I'm very lucky in that respect. But yeah, I try not to integrate into the world at the moment because it's just a very stressful place. I tend to lock myself away in my studio and just get creative. That's the way I can escape from the world's madness. But yeah, it's the same all over the world, isn't it? Spain is no exception. If anything, Spain seems to be like the test bed for the world. If they can get away with it here, then it seems to roll out in the other nations. So yeah, it's pretty diabolical here.
Okay, yeah, so with that thought, we'll continue on. I think that maybe a lot of people are a little bit surprised with hearing your accent while we're talking, because they're usually to this country, some kind of like Johnny Cash type of accent that we hear in your songs. So tell me where you are originally.
I'm originally from the UK. And I moved to Spain about 6 years ago now. And my business in the UK, and it still remains my business, was ringtones. So that's how I make my living, is selling ringtones. And when you're selling ringtones, you have to, do funny voices. Ringtones have to be funny. So I found myself doing all of these different funny voices, and soon realized that I had a bit of a talent for different voices. And when I wrote the first song, which was called Flat Earth Man, it seemed to work best in a country style. I think country and Western music is very good for explaining things. It's a very good genre of music to get across. You can speak in country music, and most of the album is a lot of speaking in it, so you can get away with getting across a lot of information in a country genre. It's the perfect genre for that. So when I wrote the first song, I was trying some country voices, and I started to sing a little bit like that, and this kind of voice came out like that. And I thought, when I recorded it and I listened to it back, it just worked. And Flat Earth Man was born right there, I guess.
Okay, yeah. So talk a little bit about the Flat Earth Man. First of all, I guess that the appearance of the Flat Earth Man came after you being introduced to Flat Earth, okay, or after you discovered it and researched it. So when did that happen?
You mean the character's appearance with the hat and the shades? You mean?
No, beforehand. When did you discover this thing over here?
Oh, that thing. Well, I discovered that when when I first moved to Spain. Actually, I discovered it in about 2016, which was perfect timing because I just moved from the UK and I'd more or less said goodbye to all of my friends over there. So I started a new life in Spain and then a new understanding about where we live as well. So I haven't really had too many problems with, sounding like I'm a crazy man to my close friends because all my close friends are over in the UK. So I've started a new life here with new friends. And the friends that I have my understanding. They're globe skeptics or flat earthers or whatever you want to call them. They're certainly truthers to some respect. So when I started my new life here, I started all new friends. So I never really had the problem with trying to convince friends about it and them thinking I'm crazy. But my journey started here in this house, actually 2016. And my life has never been the same since.
Yeah, and how did that happen? Like, did you watch this show, or like heard someone talking about it, or?
Well, back in 2016, YouTube wasn't so censored back then. And the topic flat earth was very, very popular. If you were into any kind of conspiracies, which I was at the time, I was researching everything New World Order, if you like. And these videos kept coming up in my YouTube feed, flat earth, flat earth, this. And I couldn't understand it because I thought, well, that's crazy. Who on earth thinks that the earth is flat? That's ridiculous. And I completely rejected it. And I would not click on any of those videos because it had flat earth in the title. And then one day I clicked on a video that was called They Are Hiding God with the Biggest Secret. And I found that to be a very intriguing title. So I clicked on it and it was actually Mark Sargent's Flat Earth Clues, and somebody had retitled it. And I think, once I got about half an hour or an hour into that series, I was left at the end really scratching my head, and and then I got the bug, and then more and more flat Earth videos were coming up in my feed. But at that point, then I wasn't scared to click on them because I knew that there was something to it, because Mark presented, enough evidence for me to think there's something here, there's something to this conspiracy. So that was the video that started my journey.
Okay, and from that point till the point that you started to, grab your guitar and turn into Flat Earth Man, what caused that, or what kind of process made this happening?
Well, I think it took me about a year's worth of research to finally to really get sort of comfortable with the subject, to get and for me to start putting it into music. So it took me about a year before I was brave enough to start writing songs about gravity, before I was brave enough or informed enough to write songs about the ISS or satellites or the moon landing and all these other things. I think you have to have a bit of a firm knowledge base of all of these subjects to be able to write a song. Now, I don't go into huge amounts of depth in my song. I just highlight all the problems that I see, and because you've only got 5 or 6 minutes to get across as much information as possible in a song. So I've lost my train of thought there. So I just put the bullet points of things to pique people's interest, to sow the seed, if you like, in my songs. So, but I had enough information to at least put some bullet points into the songs and get people questioning and get people thinking. Now, I like to say that my music is it plants the seed. It leads the horse to water, if you like. It's a musical bag of seeds. And I think if you were to research everything I was saying in the lyrics of my songs, it could change your life. And I firmly believe that. So, it took me about a year before I was brave enough and informed enough to put it into music. But I felt I had to do that because it was the only thing that I really know how to do well is music. That's my form of communication. So I had to contribute in some way, and that's my way of trying to get the truth out there. And it seems to be a very effective tool that I've learned.
I will share a personal story with you of mine of how it's like that, how it was like that for me. I also discovered this flat Earth through the YouTube videos, but here and I also did this research for about a year or so. And over here in Israel in 2018, there was the trip to the moon of the Bereshit spacecraft, supposedly, and over there, it was a very decisive moment for me. The moment that I saw this fakery of this fake, I actually told myself, okay, before before this spaceship supposedly crashed over there, I told myself, okay, if it will land and it will bring, good photographs and it will look reliable, I will forget this whole flat Earth crap and make my life back to normal and back to normal sense. But once it happens and there was a crash over there and there were no photographs and no kind of evidence that this thing ever happened. So this was my enlightening moment of getting really pissed off and deciding to do these shows. That this is, I guess, what I describe as my form of art. So I think that you need to have a very decisive moment, which is created, which is related to your reality, in order to get this boost. And I guess that your boost of getting creative with that came with a big bang of creating all those songs. And I think that beside the lyrics, your whole presentation is very unique. Is very creative. It's something that people are very. It's very easy for them to get. Okay. To understand when it comes with those cartoons and kind of funny ways of presenting. Did you thought about it? Did you intended that it will be like that?
Well, the whole creative process in making a music video is vast, really. My very first video, I wasn't using green screen. I tried to be as creative as possible without a green screen. But once I figured out that I could, put whatever image I want behind me, like you're doing there with the ESH News logo behind you, once I figured out how to do that, then a whole new world of creativity just opened up. And my mind started racing. And, I have many, many sleepless nights when I'm making a music video because I don't storyboard it. I don't write it down. I work it all out in my head. So I'm lying there in bed trying to figure out where I'm going to, I'm looking for images where I can position myself in the image. Or,
I'm going to play the violin upside down and with my hair like that.
I was just about to say that I am literally bending over backwards in some of my videos to make, a certain scene work, to try and make it as entertaining and funny, because I think it's important that people are entertained and amused, because I think people then take it in more. People seem to have a better learning capacity when they're being entertained and when they're laughing. They remember it more and they're more likely to share it with their friends if it's comedic and if it's funny. Even if you don't understand the content, you're more likely to share it if it's just amusing to you. So I try to make it as funny and as amusing as possible. But it's a very hard process because I could be in the studio the entire day and only film about 5 seconds worth of video. So one video could take me 2 or 3 months to make, but I think it's worth it in the end, because sometimes I look back on my videos and I'm so glad I put that time into them. Otherwise they wouldn't be the same videos they are today. So I don't put content out every month on my channel. It's usually I upload a video and wait 3 months or 4 or 5 months before I put the next one out, because I'm continually working behind the scenes to do more of that stuff. And I can't do it overnight, sadly. I wish there was a way I could do it quicker. I wish there was more of me. I wish I had a cloning machine so I could make more videos. But it is a very, very tough process. And but people are enjoying it, and that's the main thing. And I'm enjoying it at the end of the day. I love the creative process, as stressful as it is. Like I say, it keeps me awake at night trying to figure out, the next scene that I'm going to do. But I love it. I love doing what I do.
Great. We love it also. Tell me, is it all home produced, the thing that you're doing, and you're doing that all of yourself, or you have assistance in some way?
No, it's all me. Every part of it is me. I only have iMovie. I have an iMac and I have iMovie, which is the editing software that comes free with an iMac. So it's not it's not very advanced software that I'm using, So that makes it even more difficult. But I have no help. This is why it takes such a long time. Most musical artists will have, the lighting person, the wardrobe, the makeup, the location, and the editor, and the producer, and all. They will have a team of people to do it. But it's just me. This is why it takes such a long time. But the problem is I'm quite a control freak. Everything has to be from me. I don't think I could employ a video editor because they wouldn't do it the same as the way I wanted it to do. You know, I have people sending me song lyrics and can you use these lyrics? And I always say no, because they're not my lyrics. It has to come from me. So I'm a bit of a control freak, but yeah, it's all me.
No, it's very familiar. It's I guess this is the whole lesson that we are learning from dealing with conspiracies with flat Earth, because we don't want any kind of like control on our life, I guess. And if someone is intervening in your creation, it gives them some kind of like control, and this is the thing that we're trying to be most avoid of. So I think that it makes very good sense that people in this world are trying to do everything by themselves and trying to getting the whole creativity 100%. Okay, and once you started this journey of yours with producing these videos, I saw that you kind of like published them about 3 years ago in 2017, and so how was I know the first reactions and how it got accepted with the flat Earth community, and did you think that that you have a special role, a special part of how this community kind of like evolved in the last years?
When I first put my first video out, I didn't expect to have any reaction to it. And obviously at that time I had my favorite flat Earth presenters and video makers, and I was kind of hoping that they would see it. I put my first video online, and nothing happened for about a month. And then one morning I checked and I saw loads of comments from very well-known flat earthers, all encouraging me and telling me how wonderful they thought the video was. So that was really, really encouraging to me. I think that was probably spurred me on to do my second song. And then the recognition just started. I started getting more subscribers, and all the comments were positive. And still to this day, 99% of the reactions are thumbs up, which is a really good statistic for a YouTube channel. So I guess, you know, the reaction of the people I wasn't expecting. I wasn't expecting certainly mothers to be telling me that they use my videos to educate their children. I wasn't expecting that. So all the kind of recognition I got and the virtual pat on the back just spurs me on to do more, because I know it's being well received.
Okay, good. And as it went on, there were like I saw that you kind of like joined into the big community with the conferences and all kinds of like events that I think they even rewarded you in one of them as the top musician of Flat Earth or something like that. How is that? Is it like help you also like in your social aspect this thing?
Well, the conference was a big one for me, because I hadn't really, you know, I'd always been a performing musician, but only in small bars and small clubs and things. And most of the time I was performing to people that just weren't listening. They were too busy drinking, getting drunk, or watching the football on the television screen. But the Flat Earth Man album was the very first album that I produced all by myself and released it. And then Robbie, the conference organizer, contacted me and said, "Do you want to come over and perform?" And I said, well, yeah, sure. I mean, it cost me an absolute arm and a leg. It cost me a fortune, but it was a once in a lifetime opportunity for me to play my album that I'd written in front of people that would understand it. And when I performed that album on stage, the reaction was just incredible. And people were coming up and wanted me to sign their CDs, and I was getting photographed with people. They wanted photographs with me. So it was like being famous for a few days. It was very, very strange. And it was then that I saw the reaction of the music, you know, up close and personal. And I've made a lot of friends just through that conference alone. I mean, I don't have a massive social circle here. My social circle is more online. You know, I'm quite thankful that I've got a small group of friends that we are of the same understanding. That's good. But yeah, so Flat Earth and the music has certainly improved my social life, and it's improved my musical life as well. So yeah, no complaints.
Okay, good. And from that point that you are Flat Earth Man, you kind of like turned in the last, I think, year or two or so with this new title of yours, Conspiracy Music Guru. And what happened? Like, how did that came along? And
originally, I called the channel Conspiracy Music Guru because, you know, at that point, I knew enough about conspiracies that I thought, you know, maybe I'm going to write more about conspiracies. So the phrase conspiracy music guru, I literally just thought of it and put it in. I didn't expect it to be a channel in 2 or 3 years to have 33,000, 34,000 subscribers. I didn't see that then. Had I have known it was going to be a relatively successful channel, I might have changed the name, but it's always been Conspiracy Music Guru. I created the song Flat Earth Man. Somebody got that confused and thought that the title, the artist, was Flat Earth Man. So I started getting called Flat Earth Man. It wasn't a title that I gave myself. It was a title that the internet gave to me. So the channel was still Conspiracy Music Guru, and the internet had labeled this character Flat Earth Man. So there wasn't really much I could do about it. So people got a little bit confused there. Is this guy Flat Earth Man, Conspiracy Music Guru, Alex Michael? Who's the real guy? So it's a bit confusing, but it just all happened organically.
Is there any difference between those two personalities or whatever? No, right?
Well, I think with every character that you do, there's always an aspect of yourself in that. I mean, the character Flat Earth Man is sleeveless. I always wear sleeveless tops, regardless. I always wear shades as well. I just happened to put a hat on that I'd bought previously, just to try and give me a bit more of a country look. I didn't plan it. I just put the shades on and the hat and became the character. And the internet sort of labeled me that character. So there are similarities. Yeah. I mean, I'm really although I'm a child, I'm a big kid, really. I'm a big child, and I like to be creative, and I like to do funny voices, and I like to dance about and play the fool and everything. So, I mean, that is a part of me as well. I've always been a bit of a joker and a fool. So, my next video as well, you'll see another part of me, which is going to be a very, very heavy rock video. Almost sounds like Metallica. And that was a big part of my life for about 10 years. I was very much into heavy rock when I first started learning the guitar. So you're going to see more aspects of my personality in future videos. But I think there'll always be an aspect of me in the character, because ultimately it is me.
And I want to focus about the word guru. Is it like has a special meaning of because guru is like someone who's like more connected to something spiritual, something like kind of like a teacher or someone present the way. How is that word fitting into you?
Well, it has different meanings. I believe the original Sanskrit of guru means to bring light into the darkness, which I really, really like. And I like to think I'm doing that musically. I mean, I suppose you could interpret it as teacher, but then again, I am teaching with my music. So it depends on your understanding of the word, but it can mean teacher. It can mean to bring light into the darkness, and I like either explanation.
Okay, good. And with that, we're gonna go through, I guess, your recent enterprise, at least from what I saw. I saw that the kind of publish a website store with all kinds of like nice merch, conspiracy merch, all kinds of like dressing and other stuff that is it's very fascinating. Oh, what is that? Building 7. Okay, yeah, we know that. We're coming back to this conspiracy right now, right? September 11 is coming back big time, right? It's like I hear it all the time lately with people getting back to that, because this is like maybe the biggest one, like the first one in the 2000s. Okay, let's say it like that, with the big lie and everything. Tell us a little bit about Building 7 and tell us a little bit about your store.
Well, I mean, 9/11 is the biggest one. I mean, 9/11 was the one that got me into conspiracies. There was a guy that came into my studio in 2012. I still remember it, and he started showing me some stuff about 9/11, and he was showing me this supposed missile that hit the Pentagon, and there was the supposed plane, that hit the Pentagon, and there was no evidence of a plane yet, but there was a few frames from a security camera that showed what seemed to be a missile, and I was like scratching my head, and because I'd looked at that video, more 9/11 conspiracy videos were coming up in my YouTube feed. So that's when I started having a completely different understanding about the 9/11 narrative that we were all being fed. And that was when I started learning the terms New World Order and Illuminati and the Cabal and all these words that I'd never heard before. So I was now armed with new words to type into the search bar in YouTube: Illuminati, Cabal, New World Order, and all of these things. And I just went deep inside the rabbit hole, if you like, and went from one conspiracy to another conspiracy to another conspiracy before, and then eventually led me to Flat Earth and the T-shirts as well. Yeah, it led me to. I've only recently started doing the merchandise store, and there's a couple of people that are not too happy that I've done it because they say, "Oh, you must be in it for the money." But I would like to remind those people that all of my music and all of my videos and everything I've released is free on YouTube. So, you know, if I'm making a couple of bucks by selling T-shirts, then so be it. But all my T-shirts have a conspiracy message and a kind of parody thing. This is clear, obviously, the 7-Eleven logo. All of my T-shirts are parodies. So I've parodied Adidas and I've parodied Nike. Nike says NASA, just fake it. So there's T-shirts with a message, and it's the best way that people can help me out with the channel, because at least if they purchase something, they get something in return, you know, and I make a few bucks. So I thought it was a nice little addition, and you know, a few people have been buying them. So yeah,
just between you and me, Alex, okay? Just between you and me, it's okay to make money. It's fine.
I know. That's the conspiracy. That's the conspiracy. Like, I mean, these people that say these things, they have jobs and they make money. You know, but if I make money, then I'm a shill, or I'm in it for the money, or this, that, and the other. It just makes absolutely no sense to me. And it, you know, it reminds me of that old saying: "Support what you like, or it goes away." I can't spend 3 months in a studio doing, you know, without. You know, I've got other things that I need to do. If I want to continue doing this, I have to support myself in some way. And this was the only way, really, I could think of continue to support myself financially by doing this. So, and people should really hope that I become extremely rich from selling T-shirts. I won't, but people should hope, because if I do, then I'm going to have more tools at my discretion. I can do more music, and I can, you know, reach more people. I can have a marketing budget. I can do so much more if I have, you know, a marketing budget to do it with. But it's just some of these conspiracy people that think you're terrible for making a few bucks. I will never understand it. Okay, so at this point we will go with the following announcement. ESH News fans and viewers, whatever, buy Alex stuff. Now, go into, where do they go? They can go to my website, conspiracymusicguru.com, and right up the top there's a bunch of T-shirts, and you can have a look at the range there if you like. What Alex said. Good. Anyway, we will take a short break right now, and we'll watch one of your videos. One of that I actually exposed just recently. The one I don't want to talk about NASA. This is why it was my picking for this show. You just told me, oh, I like all my videos, so just pick one. I do. I picked this one. So, and I think it's got a very nice message into it, and we will watch it now, and we'll continue to talk a little bit afterwards. Cool? Okay.
You ever tried to talk to people about NASA? Huh. Well, I'm banging your head on a brick wall, right? Well, this song is all about that. Sometimes it's best just to keep your mouth shut, right? And don't talk about NASA at all. Listen up. When I started talking about NASA, I lost all my friends. So I don't want to talk about NASA ever again. My friends don't understand me, and I wish they would. I tried to tell them about NASA, but it don't do no good. No, I don't want to talk about NASA ever again. 'Cause every time I talk about NASA, I lose another one of my friends. Yeah, every time I open my stupid mouth, Something about NASA comes flying out. No, I ain't gonna talk about NASA again. Well, you can lead a horse to water, but you can't make it drink. You can tell people about NASA, but you can't make them think. Well, they look at me, they roll their eyes, they shake their head, 'cause they believe the papers and the TV instead. No, I don't want to talk about NASA ever again, 'cause every time I talk about NASA, I lose another one of my friends. Yeah, every time I open my stupid mouth, something about NASA comes flying out. No, I ain't gonna talk about NASA again. See, I just want my friends to know all of NASA's lies. I hope one day my friends wake up and they realize. But I feel like I'm banging my head on a wall every single time. If I just got me a bunch of new friends, then I'll be doing fine. No, I don't want to talk about NASA ever again, 'cause every time I talk about NASA, I lose another one of my friends. Yeah, every time I open my stupid mouth, something about NASA comes flying out. No, I ain't gonna talk about NASA again. Down to the local bar to meet me a bunch of new friends. Well, I had myself just a couple of beers and started talking about NASA again. Well, things got kind of ugly, and I was punched to the floor. No, I ain't gonna talk about NASA no more. Talk about NASA ever again, 'cause every time I talk about NASA, I lose another one of my friends. Yeah, every time I open my stupid mouth, something about NASA comes flying out. No, I ain't gonna talk about NASA again. One more time, boys. No, I don't want to talk about NASA, no, ever again. 'Cause every time I talk about NASA, I lose another one of my friends. Yeah, every time I open my stupid mouth, something about NASA comes flying out. No, I ain't gonna talk about NASA ever again.
All right, guys, we're back here with Alex, conspiracy music guru, flat earth man, whatever, and we just heard about the song of "I Don't Want to Talk About NASA," and that kind of like leads you on to, let's say, the social aspect of it, okay, and maybe like nowadays it's more like relevant, okay, because I think that nowadays people who are considered the conspiracies, it's got more like effect on real life, okay. If we are back to our current times and our current biggest conspiracy, I think that it's kind of like more in real life being presented, okay, with someone, as you said before, need to go with the mask, and now someone who doesn't go with the mask on the street, so is like already labeled as the conspiracist. Tell me a little bit about your feeling about being the outcast with I know the mindful outcast, okay, or like the ones who is like considered the crazy one or whatever in your gang. How is that being affiliated in real life?
Well, that song that you just played, I Don't Want to Talk About NASA, that was written because of an experience that I had trying to explain to a couple of my friends. They were friends at the time, they're not friends any longer.
Okay.
Because we went out for a meal and we was talking, we was trying to just, feed a few, sow a few seeds and see what happened. And to my surprise, people got very, very angry. The night was very heated, and that taught me a lot. It taught me how to gauge my audience. You should really test who you're talking to first before you even mention anything like a globe, lie, or a flat Earth. So that was the night that I started writing that song, because I saw the reaction in people when I started talking about NASA. It's like, I offended their family. It's like, it was very, very strange. So that taught me a hell of a lot. But a good song came out of it. I don't want to talk about NASA ever again, because every time I talk about NASA, I lose another one of my friends. And it's very true. I lost 2 or 3 friends just from talking about NASA. So it's not all bad. I got a good song out of it.
I guess that the biggest lie that lies behind it, and this is the thing that the conclusion that I got in the last few months or so, is just sitting on the difference between what people define as science and what people define as technology. Because people are thinking they're the same. Usually, the most I don't know. Common claim for people like us is like, oh, you don't believe in science, but you use this internet and this chat, which is scientific or whatever. I think that the biggest conspiracy lays upon the delusion that we got that these things are the same, science and technology. And while technology was, I guess, existed way before science ever did, and science is actually just the language. Technology is just the real objects, the real things that we men create. Do you hold this thought as well?
Yeah, you have to remember, YouTube is just a platform. It's an information platform. The internet is an information platform. You got to understand that, esteemed universities like Harvard will publish their lectures on YouTube. So anyone saying that YouTube is just for cat videos is foolish, or are clearly just watching cat videos. But there's a hell of a lot of information out there, presentations, conferences, and these kinds of things where you can listen to researchers that have been researching these subjects for 20 or 30 years, and within an hour or two you can almost pick up a guy's life's work. So people saying that YouTube is not a source of information or credible information, they're not looking at the right videos, are they?
Yeah, I guess so. And I want to get back a little bit about the creative side of things. For me personally, I think that what I witnessed, with my fellow members over here in Israel, and people that I got to know all over the world with dealing with flat Earth, that these people are very creative. Beside the thing that they are involved with. Of creating their content and dealing with flat Earth, they also have a side hobby or whatever, which is very creative. And I think that this thing kind of like relates to God, okay, in some sense, because in the Hebrew Bible, in the first chapter, when God created man, He created them in His image. In His image means that the man isn't like similar to God, okay, with the appearance, but it has the most important character of God, okay, and God is the creator. And in order to us to fulfill our destiny as humans, that God made us distinguished from all animals, He made us distinguished by the thing that he made us creative people, okay, and enable us the way of creativity. So this is what I think that this is our missions in life, okay, to be creative, to create new things, and this is the thing that kind of like I noticed with you, that all the things you do very creative, and what this creativity means like, you know, bringing something from non-existed to existed. Do you see, you know, the whole thing that I blabbed on about? Do you see it in the same way, in some way?
I think the human race has always been a creative race. The only problem is the beast system that we live in. It beats the creativity out of you. It puts you into a left brain prison. Our schools are very left brain and very logical and mathematical, scientific, and all. It literally beats the divinity and the creativity out of the human. And I think things like Flat Earth ignites the creative spark in people. It certainly did for me. And I think it's really generally more right-brained creative people that become flat earthers or globe skeptics, because their mind can go there. They can open that part of their mind. I know many left-brainers that even in my own family that will find it impossible to even go there. The favorite quote I often use is a quote from Da Vinci. There are three classes of people: those that see when they are shown, and those who do not see. And I know plenty of people who do not see, and they all tend to be left-brainers, indoctrinated by a left-brain system. And thankfully, this flat Earth is sparking something divine in people, and it's just people grab hold of it with a passion, and they want to do whatever they can creatively to get that message across. And for me, obviously, it's music.
Mm-hmm. I think that it's all been like you can entitle it as you know, the copy-paste era. Okay, that people are using this same action, okay, that we usually do in our computers. Okay, it turned into our way of getting information and about believing what is reality. Just, you know, copy paste whatever you need, you think is kind of like relevant or seems logical or whatever, and usually, you know, the common sense became that what is reality is not what is reality, is what most people think reality is. Okay, and this is, I think, the sad thing about our world. The kind of like it became a democracy of what is truth. Okay, whatever people think is truth. So yeah, I guess this is correct. And with that, I want to talk a little bit about other things that I've encountered with your work. Beside the flat Earth, I saw earlier, I think in 2000, you issued a song called "Look Up" about the chemtrails, right?
Yeah.
And what led you to be involved with other conspiracies and to bring them into your art?
I think it's part of the conspiracy journey, isn't it? When you start looking at things like 9/11, chemtrails are soon going to be put on your table. Once you start looking at that stuff, I mean, obviously the content now is very difficult to find on YouTube because YouTube are just censoring everything. Mm-hmm. So when you search for anything chemtrail based on YouTube, you're just going to find a lot of videos that debunk chemtrails and call them contrails, which of course is nonsense. But it was just another conspiracy that I was utterly shocked by. Of course, everybody is when they learn about chemtrails, and the only thing I could do is put it into music. So I sort of brushed up on my research a little bit and put even the ingredients of chemtrails within the song, and made it quite a sad song as well, about a chemtrail pilot who was ultimately assassinated at the end of the song for speaking out. And we know that these chemtrail whistleblowers are threatened and are assassinated and are demonized and ostracized for speaking out against this terrible crime against humanity. But it was just another one of those shocking conspiracies that I woke up to along the way, and ultimately ended up putting that to music also.
Mm-hmm. And I think it goes hand in hand, even like logically. Okay, I heard all kinds of like conspiracies how the chemtrails are kind of like related to the 5G antennas that spread. Yeah, they said that there are all kinds of like receptors and all kinds of like metals that they're spreading that the 5G can recept afterwards, or things like that. And with that, you issued another funny song that they put on in the promo to the show, "No Amount of Evidence," right? And this was a very funny song, and I think it's kind of like at the end we saw you over there burning those 5G antennas and whatever. Is this thing? And I want to, I guess, to connect to the more I know criminal aspect of things or whatever. Aren't you like afraid or something like that people will come over to you and blame you for all kinds of things that you encourage in your surrounding? Is it like common to put label on people like you as criminals?
No, well, I haven't had that feedback yet. I mean, because I can deliver that in a comedic way, and it is really just like a childish professor-like character who gets so frustrated that no amount of evidence can ever persuade an idiot. He gets so frustrated that he takes it upon himself to go out there and set fire to these towers. Now, if anybody sees that and then mimics what I'm doing and does that for themselves, well, that's ridiculous. I don't think that's the type of people that are watching my information are those type of people. However, there is one aspect, we do need to take this into our own hands. I'm not saying necessarily go out and set fire to 5G towers, of course not, but I'm trying to inform people that this is actually what is going on. People are setting fire to 5G towers, and there must be a reason for it. They're not crazy conspiracy tinfoil hat wearing conspiracy theorists. They're actually probably extremely well informed and probably are worried about their health and the health of their children. So they take it upon themselves to cause damage to these towers. I'm sure there's a safer way to disable these towers. I don't know, but of course I'm delivering all of that in a comedic way. I don't expect people to copy what I do, but I just use it as comedy. We've all seen comedy on the television, and it's horrendous things that goes on. People don't go out and then go and shoot their neighbor because it was on a comedy sketch. At least I hope not.
This video was issued before the COVID crisis, or during? During, okay. So we were already in the mood of like going out to the street and bash things, I guess.
Well, I mean, the funny thing is that video just a couple of weeks ago was pulled down by YouTube for medical misinformation and inappropriate content. So, and I challenged the strike on my channel, but they wouldn't tell me which part of the video was so-called medical misinformation. So they pulled that video down. They obviously they didn't like the amount of evidence that I was showing.
I guess so. Okay, and tell us a little bit. What's your plans for the future? With Conspiracy Music Guru, what kind of like other projects do you think you're gonna do? Give us some scoops over here for ESH News.
Well, I mean, I'm always going to be doing music because that's the only thing I really know how to do well, I think. So there'll always be music coming out from me, and I'm going to try and do many different genres of music. As you've seen, I've done the Flat Earth Man album, which is country. I also did an instrumental guitar album with healing tones, so that was very chilled and very laid back. And then I did a chemtrail song, which was very folky. I've done No Amount of Evidence, which is very childish-like song, if you like. And I've also just done I Told You So, which was blues, rock blues. I'm working on a song at the moment, which is very, very heavy guitars. It almost sounds like Metallica. It might split my audience a little bit. I know some people love it, and I know there'll be some that hate it. But I'm going to try and do as many different genres as well as I can, because I think I can reach more people that way. If my next song might be a reggae song, or I might do hip hop. It will all be tongue in cheek, of course. I don't consider myself a country artist. I don't consider myself a hip hop artist or a reggae artist or a rock artist. None of those things. I'm just a creative guy, who's going to, try and all these different genres of music and try and do it tongue in cheek, comedically. But I want the music to sound very good as well. So I'm going to try and make it sound as good as I can. But I'm just going to continue doing music in as many genres as possible. Maybe my video editing skills will improve and you'll start seeing some more effects, something a little more dynamic. But it will always be music coming out from me.
Okay, I think that the measure or like the evidence that you need if a thing that you did is good or not is like if some people don't like it, so it's good. Okay, this is my distinction, I think.
Exactly.
Exactly right. And tell us about a little bit about the merchandise as well. Do you think you're gonna spread on to another fields of merchandise and be the conspiracy guru over there as well?
Yeah, I've only just started the store. I'm wearing another one now, which is NASA Just Fake It.
Okay, okay, yeah.
As you can see, they're parodies of famous logos, so they're quite eye-catching. So people already recognise the logo, but of course it says something completely different. So I've only just started the merchandise store, so it's very, very young. But I'll probably do some more designs. I may do some caps. I don't know. So I've been concentrating on some designs for the last week, and I'm also working on another video, a rock video, as I mentioned. That's going to have an interesting theme. So yeah, I'm just doing music and trying to make a buck by selling a few of these, and that keeps me busy enough. Let's put it that way.
I suggest then go on pajamas. People love pajamas, and you know what they have to dream about the conspiracies while they're like wearing the pajamas. So I think it's go with that. This is my advice, at least. Okay, Alex, we usually like to end up the show with a little bit of optimistic words. Okay, for our people, you know, as we said at the beginning, this is a tough reality that we are now, especially like you know, with the COVID crisis. It seems to get into politics and health, and it's all being like a super evil device or whatever. And these are the things that we conspiracy people don't really like. Okay, so. Tell us a little bit of like optimistic words of how this reality is going to turn up in the next few months or years, and will this conspiracy words will ever come out to be the common truth of everybody?
We don't see that. That's my only worry with conspiracies, because we're 20 years on now from 9/11. And it still remains a conspiracy theory. Even though we have all of this information at our fingertips, it still remains in a corner of the internet labeled a conspiracy theory. So whether the truth about 9/11 comes out, I just don't know. We haven't seen it yet. So that leads me on to think, well, will the truth of flat Earth come out? I think it's the biggest deception in the world. So I don't think it's going to come out easily if it does at all. But as with regards to words of positivity, I mean, I don't get too deep into the information. I keep on top of it, but I don't let it affect me. I'm very lucky and very blessed to sort of really just lose myself in creativity. I pay it no mind. And, I've got a song called Don't Let Them Take Your Mind, and they will never have my mind. And I always remain positive. And whatever they try and throw at me, I try and use like a martial arts approach to it. I take their energy. If someone's coming at me with a fist, I take the fist and I used it to defeat my opponent. So talking about the COVID, what I've done this year is use the time wisely to invest in my garden and my homestead that I'm trying to create here and grow food. And this year we've been concentrating on nothing but that. And now I have a garden with fruits and vegetables growing. So that's the way I turn a negative situation into a positive situation. And I've made music about these things as well. So I never let it get me down too much. I always remain positive, and I always try and turn a negative into a positive if I can. So I would just say, don't get too much into the information. Don't let them take your mind, man.
Will the people ever be free with this mind control that we're having?
Not as long as the television exists. People need to understand to turn that fucking thing, excuse my language, turn that thing off. As long as the television is literally a mind control device. There are patents that prove that the flicker rate on a television will put your mind into an alpha state, literally hypnotism. So you receive the information into your subconscious. So as long as the television still exists, I think people will always be under mind control. And that's the sad fact of reality.
That actually led me as well to flat Earth and dealing with conspiracies, because I learned media in my college years, and I have a media degree and everything. And the minute that I finished up my degree, this is minute that I kind of like decided that I never want to be involved with mainstream media in my life, okay, because it just doesn't suits me, until Flat Earth came along, and I decided that I will just make use with everything that I learned in order to make a good thing out of it. And this is at least my message over here with this channel.
Exactly.
So with that being said, Alex, I want to thank you a lot for participating over here in ESH News. It's been a really big pleasure. We will end this show with another clip, another one of which is kind of like new, right? I told you, right?
I told you so. Yeah, that was born out of frustration, and I think a lot of people resonated with that because they were all thinking the same thing. You know, we've been trying to tell people for years and years and years what's actually going on in the world, and that song was just born out of frustration. And I didn't expect it to be as widespread as it has been, but I'm glad it has, because people are now questioning this. If Michelle Obama is a man or a woman or not. So that's great. People should be looking at that sort of stuff. And so I just basically listed a bunch of conspiracies that certainly raised an eyebrow. Let's put it that way.
Yeah, I think that we each one had this scenario when someone in the last year came over, the world is going crazy, whatever. And we were like, yeah, I told you so.
Exactly.
Good. So let's watch this one and say goodbye to Alex. Thank you very much again, and it's been a pleasure. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Cheers.
1, 2, 3, 4. I told you so. I told you. I told you so. I told you. Remember when I told you about 9/11? Remember when I told you about Building 7? Remember when I told you about the fluoride in the water? Yes, I did. Remember when I told you about the New World Order? Remember that? Remember when I told you about the chemtrails in the sky? Remember when I told you that NASA was full of lies? Remember when I told you about the ultra mind control? Well, I just want to say that I told you so, yeah. Remember when I told you about 432 hertz, that is, and what 440 can do to you? It hurts my ears. Remember when I told you about the vaccine agenda? Yes, I did. And that Michelle Obama is a transgender. Yes, he is. The dinosaur fraud, the climate change scam, and yes, Sandra Bullock is also a man. Remember when I told you that there ain't no globe? Well, I just want to say that I told you so. 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 Yeah. Remember when I told you about the TV flicker rate? And how it puts your brain in an alpha state? Remember when I told you about germ theory? Remember when I told you about gravity? Remember that? Remember when I told you about Paul McCartney? Remember when I told you about direct energy? Remember when I told you about Monsanto? Well, I just want to say that I told you so. 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 Yeah. when I told you about the mainstream media? Your so-called celebrities and pedophilia. Remember that child trafficking and that adrenochrome. Remember when I told you about the Georgia Guidestone? Remember when I told you about the false flag operation? Remember when I told you about 5G radiation? Remember that I told you that? Well, I just want to say that I told you so. I told you so. I told you so. I told you so. Yeah, I told you so.